The contestants for this year's Miss Strassenfest pageant have been announced. My interview with Charlotte Olson with Blue Lake Dance Central, and Inform featuring Susan McGovern with the DuBois County Community Foundation. Those stories and much more are up next here on 18 WJTS News. Hello, I'm Bradford Raths. In your news, an observation of suspicious activity in Jasper early this morning led to the arrest of a man who was homeless. Jasper police say an officer on patrol spotted 20-year-old Richard Sparacino in the area of 14th and Kundex Streets just before 3:40 this morning. After a short time of observing Sparacino, the officer confronted him, and a further investigation found that Sparacino was in possession of stolen property and also had drug paraphernalia and marijuana on him. Sparacino was lodged in the DuBois County Security Center on possession of marijuana, possession of drug paraphernalia, and possession of stolen property charges. Jasper police were assisted by DuBois County Sheriff's deputies. 3 statewide groups have filed written objections over a proposal for a new coal mine in Pike County. The Sierra Club, the Hoosier Environmental Council, and the Bloomington-based Conservation Law Center filed comments on Monday in response to a request by project developer Vigo Coal for a Section 404 Clean Water Act permit. The permit would allow for Vigo Coal to dredge or fill a total of 98,000 feet of streams, 28 acres of open waters, and 7 acres of wetlands in and around Pike County in order to mine coal. The proposed Vigo Suna mine would be located near the Patoka River National Wildlife Refuge, and Jeffrey Hyman, a staff attorney with the Conservation Law Center of Bloomington, says there isn't enough evidence to show the impacts on the environment near the wildlife refuge.
Without the information, it's hard to know what the impacts will be. So the impacts cannot be analyzed as they need to be. In order, I don't know if you know, to get a Clean Water Act 404 permit, the Corps has to ensure that there's no less damaging alternative. And so the Corps needs to evaluate the project to see if there is a less damaging alternative or if this is the least damaging alternative. And the applicant hasn't produced the information that would be necessary to make that determination.
Hyman says the agency will have to have that information in order to make a proper decision on the proposal.
We would have to, the first thing that would have to happen would be the applicant would have to produce the necessary information, and then we would have to evaluate it in our public comments, and then the agency would be able to make its decision. So we have not been given an opportunity to effectively comment, even at this point.
Hyman also says that coal mines produce a lot of chemicals that could flow into Hoochin Ditch and Cup Creek, which empty into the Patoka River, thus polluting the river. In their written comments, the 3 organizations say that the developers of the Vigo Suna coal mine project failed to provide information on wildlife or waterways that would be destroyed by the building of the plant, did not assess the current function of area streams and wetlands, though they promised to restore the functions of them at the project's completion, and they didn't consider alternatives to large-scale surface mining that would be less damaging to the environment of the area. The 3 organizations also pointed out in their comments that the mitigation plan submitted by the company is not based on current science regarding stream restoration. The organizations also commented that the developers failed to give adequate descriptions of how they would prevent sedimentation, acidification, and metals contamination of the Patoka River and other downstream habitats. Negotiations are still continuing over the former Perfect Fit building in Lagodi. The building, which closed in the fall of 2010, is currently owned by the Knox County Association of Retarded Citizens, or KCARC. The KCARC has owned the building since December of 2011. The Martin County Alliance for Economic Development has been partnering with the KCARC to attempt to find an occupant for the building since that time, with no real news since April of last year. The building was renamed Bowling Manufacturing in honor of then-Mayor Don Bowling. During April of 2012, it was announced that there were 3 different projects being worked on for the building, and it was just a matter of which one of those projects would be at the Bowling Manufacturing building. Executive Director of the Martin County Alliance for Economic Development, Tim Kinder, says the top priority of the alliance has been to get the building back in service. Meanwhile, Lagodi Mayor Noel Hardy says there is still hope for a bright future for the building and says they are as close as they have ever been to having a new tenant for the building. Yesterday, the Indiana State Police Jasper Post held a Safe School active shooter training session for area school administrators. The session was held at Jasper Middle School and was for all school administrators in the Jasper District, which covers Crawford, Davies, DuBois, Martin, Orange, Perry, and Spencer counties. Area law enforcement agencies, fire departments, EMS, and EMA personnel also were invited to attend. The Safe Schools active shooter training is the result of several months of preparation by Indiana State Police in cooperation with the Indiana Department of Education to provide training for school administrators on the proper response to an active shooter. The purpose of this program is to educate school administrative personnel on their proper response to an active shooter situation, how law enforcement responds to active shooter situations, and what school personnel can do to mitigate injury and the loss of life in an active shooter situation. Indiana State Police serve as the lead agency in coordinating efforts to train local school corporations in what to do in the event of an active shooter at a school. Dr. Rich Hogue serves as a liaison with the Indiana State Police for this program. The training involves a PowerPoint presentation by troopers, followed by an active shooter scenario where troopers use blank ammunition and firearms. This is designed to give school administrators a feel of an actual situation in a school involving an active shooter. The shooter methodically walks the hallways for several minutes before the first police officers arrive at the scene. Once on scene, officers still urgently and tactically must navigate the school looking for the shooter, which can also take several minutes. During the scenario, a trooper narrates the situation as it unfolds and keeps the attendees apprised of the number of minutes that have passed before officers are able to finally confront the shooter and eliminate the threat. The contestants for this year's Miss Strassenfest pageant have been announced. 20-year-old Hannah Vollmer, 19-year-old Samantha Ernie, 20-year-old Kimberly Godey, 19-year-old Shelby Mullen, 19-year-old Renee Hedinger, 19-year-old Mallory Humbert, 18-year-old Emily Horney, 18-year-old Lindsay Baker, 18-year-old Haley Hildenbrand, 19-year-old Andrea Foll, and 20-year-old Kendra Kern will be this year's contestants in the pageant. Vollmer, the daughter of Stan and Connie Vollmer, is a current Ball State University student who is majoring in creative writing. For her community involvement, she volunteered at the Jasper Public Library. Ernie, the daughter of Alan and Brenda Ernie, is a current Indiana University student and is majoring in elementary education with a minor in health and kinesiology. She volunteered at Precious Blood Church for her community involvement. Godey, the daughter of George and Donna Godey, is a current Indiana University student majoring in special and elementary education. She volunteered with the Special Olympics and Terre Haute for her community involvement. Mullen, the daughter of Kevin and Yvonne Mullen, currently attends Purdue University and is majoring in chemical engineering. For her community involvement, she worked with a local nursing home. Hedinger, the daughter of Kurt and Ginger Hedinger, is a current Purdue University student majoring in communications and public relations. She volunteered at the Timbers of Jasper for her community involvement. Humbert, the daughter of Glenn and Cheryl Humbert, is a current student at Indiana University's Kelley School of Business as a direct admit student. She is majoring in marketing and business and volunteered for the Dig Into Summer program with the Jasper Public Library for her community involvement. Horney, the daughter of Scott and Cindy Horney, will be attending Spalding University and majoring in nursing. She volunteered as a coach and a lifeguard at the Special Olympics. Baker, the daughter of Jay and Winona Baker, is set to attend Vincennes University Jasper campus as a direct admit student into the nursing nurse practitioner program. She volunteered in a local nursing home for her community involvement. Hildenbrand, the daughter of David and Angela Hildenbrand, will be attending the University of Southern Indiana majoring in elementary education. She taught Vacation Bible School at her church for her community involvement. Foll, the daughter of Tony and April Foll, is a current Indiana University student majoring in chemistry with a medical doctor focus. She volunteered at the Women at Risk organization for her community involvement. And Kern, the daughter of Kenny and Kathy Kern, is a current University of Southern Indiana student and is majoring in special education and occupational therapy. She volunteered at the Jasper City Mill for her community involvement. The Miss Strassenfest pageant is set to be held on Saturday evening at 7 p.m. in the Jasper Middle School auditorium. Tickets are $5 and can be purchased at the Jasper Chamber of Commerce office through tomorrow or at the door on Saturday evening. Tickets are required for the event. Coming up after the break, my interview with Charlotte Olson with Blue Lake Dance Central, plus cooler temperatures ahead in your local forecast, sports with Evan Elrod, and Inform with Susan McGovern of the DuBois County Community Foundation. That's all up next here on 18 WJTS News. Local people watching local people.